Hello, Connective. We have another general energy read today. We're starting with the energy oracle cards first. We're just asking for one card, and then we're going to pull for some other decks and see what messages we get collectively. And we're just asking for one card from the energy. Okay, we did get two, but wow. Okay. We've seen this card so many times. Obviously, I'm going to need the book. Again. What's the other card? Okay. Okay. So we got appreciation. I'm so glad it's on another twist. Oh, wow. So carrying connections. We haven't actually seen this card again, but the reason why I sort of got excited is because it's card 14 and 15, which means that appreciation this time is coming off of this card. So perfect. Totally different message than what it normally would have given, I believe. So let's keep going and go for the Empath Empowerment deck. We just want one card out of this deck to help us with this. The cards that are on the table. Good cards this time. Good cards. We haven't been getting terrible cards. I mean, last general read we even got Walking Away again, but it was kind of a different meaning. So cool. Glad about that. What do we got here? Meditate on the spaciousness of air. So again, another card that we've gotten before, but I really do feel like it has like a different meaning here. So again, it's pretty decent. Now we're going to go for getting into the vortex on this one. This has like been happening where, you know, the card on the top of the deck keeps trying to come out in my hand when I get the other deck. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right here, this action card. Actually, last time we put it kind of up here. So yeah, getting into the vortex, we're going to pull from next. We just want one card for this one. We're going to see what pops up for us. Getting into the vortex, do you have anything to add to the cards that are on the table? We know that you've got vortex, law of attraction information for relationships for us. We know something is in here regarding our relationships, our appreciation. I know that for a fact. Let's see. We almost got one. I don't know if it was one we got before, but it didn't look like it. Let's see. What is this? Attempting to control others attracts more to be controlled. Well, it's funny because we've talked about this, but without this card. I don't remember if it was this deck or another deck. So now we are going to, you know what? We would like to consult the psychic deck on this. We'd like to get one card from the psychic deck. Help shed a little bit of light on what this whole reading is about, this general read for our collective. We know that the psychic deck also has something to say. Ooh, almost. Oh, we almost got a card that's come out before. The infinity card almost came out. So we'll see when we do get a card, which card it is. I kind of hope it's not that card. I'm not talking about another card. Plus, it's very obvious. Like, it's obvious that there's, you know, infinite abundance in this reading. I mean, it's, you know, appreciation. That's the gate. That's the gate to the key to the, you know, the abundance, you know, field. So, you know, if that card is there, it's telling us, you know, already that infinity exists. And we'll read keeping control of others too, because, you know, again, we're talking about infinity and appreciation. Keeping control of others is very restricting. It's going to be a restriction. It's going to block, you know. As I'm doing these longer videos, I'm also trying to point out the flip side of, sure, I can promise you, whoa, okay, you know what? Wow. But as far as I was concerned, that was the first card because it was actually on the table. And here we are again with the Lovers. You know what? Because so many cards came out, I'm gonna go through and try to get one more out of this deck. But you know, as we that was turned around in the deck. This abundance. This is what we're talking about here. Absolutely. Wow. Okay. So, so now we are into Kyle Gray's Angel Prayers. We're looking for just one card there. One card in this reading to help us to get the full message of what's on the table, please. Oh, what was that? What's that? Okay. That was New Beginning. It flipped over, flipped back over. It didn't jump out. Let's see what jumps out. Let's see. I'm going to tell you guys in case the same card comes out. It's happened before. Okay, so the Miracle of Nature. And then also the other Kyle Gray deck, Angel Guide Oracle. Angel Guide Oracle by Kyle Gray. I like to, I say it all the time, I like to consider these like outcome cards. Cards that are like answers or resolutions or, you know, solves the problem or just points out the obvious. Look at this. Yeah, this one just came out in the last reading too. Expect miracles and learning experience. So, yeah. Attempting. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, took us a few to get all those cards out there on the table, so I'm just going to go through them again. Up here together we have action, and then expect miracles, and then down here on this row, which is pretty much the main row, we have meditation, meditate on the spaciousness of air, and then I have the miracle of nature, kind of clarifying that, and then, you know, caring connections. And then I have the Lovers, kind of clarifying that. And then I have appreciation, and of course abundance, clarifying that. And then I have attempting to control others attracts more to be controlled. And I have learning experience, clarifying that. So first of all, one of the main themes of this whole thing is about action, the actions that we choose, okay? There's a lot of ways that this could go. If I wanted to keep pulling cards, I could pull cards that could make this look good or bad. I could pull cards that could make, you know, choices as far as, well, if you did this, this might happen, and if you did this, this might happen, and those choices and those responses to those choices could be good or bad. But ultimately, you know, again, we want to focus on things that are positive. We want to appreciate nature. We want to meditate. We want to stay grounded so that we can form caring connections, you know. And if we want to know what that means, this is what we're talking about right here. That's what we mean. And you already know, you got to know if you're on this channel that appreciation brings in abundance. And you also have to know, if you're on this channel, you've spent any time on this channel, that attempting to control others attracts more to be controlled. You already know that's a learning experience. I'm going to read this, though. I'm going to read it again. Attempting to control others attracts more to be controlled. It is easy to understand how you would come to the conclusion that your path to feeling good is through influencing or controlling the behavior of others. But as you attempt to control them through influence or coercion, you discover that not only can you not contain them, but your attention to them brings more like them into your experience. You simply cannot get to where you want to be by attempting to control or eliminate the unwanted. And again, we have talked about this before, and I think it's interesting that this card mentions influence, or coercion, because, I think the way I put it in the other video was trying to change other people so that you can relate to them differently, and it really is kind of like that, where you really are like, well, I don't like this. Let me see if I can get them to do this, and just change that because I don't like it. And the thing is it's like the card says, like, even if you were successful, you're talking about one time, and then you have to keep doing it every time. Like, again, that's really exhausting. And then, after a while, even if you're kind of successful, it's going to build resentment because that person's going to be like doing what you want them to do, like basically because you want them to. And then you're going to be mad because you have to make them do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not it. In like this card says, you discover that not only can you not contain them, but your attention to them brings more like them into your experience. So not only more like them, but it brings more of that out in them, and they won't even know why. They'll be like, I'm trying to not do this anymore, but they keep having more experiences where they're able to, more opportunities to do it, or they forget, they end up doing, because they're just so like, now they're walking on eggshells, and now they're, and it doesn't matter how it looks to you. When you treat people that way, when you try to control them, when you try to get them to act in a different way than they're acting in certain circumstances, this is the behavior, depending on how well they can roll with it. You know what I mean? Like, some people can just like adapt and try and, maybe mess up sometimes, but some people can't, or they don't believe in what they're trying to change to, so they have a little bit harder time converting, or maybe they just don't like authority in general, so they don't like being told what they can and can't do. You get all kinds of mixtures in this, plus the filter of what they think they heard and what you said, because you could be trying to think, hey man, I just want you to act normal, and they're kind of like, what's normal? Like, I don't understand what that means, and so there could even just be this huge communication problem with the way you want them to respond, and you could be frustrated over that. And then later on, you'll just kind of be like, you know what? I'm not taking responsibility for what this person does. I'm not telling this person how to be. I'm not placating to this. None of it. And you just understand that if you just watch yourself, that you would be better off. I mean, with appreciation on the table and meditating on the spaciousness of air on the table and the miracle of nature. Let me read Meditate on the Spaciousness of Air. When you are stuck, picture yourself in an open, airy space with room to move and breathe. Let yourself feel free and empowered. And there's that word. The miracle of nature. Thank you, angels, for helping me to reconnect through nature and fresh air. I can't make this up. So, this is my point, is to breathe. Really appreciate what you have. If you don't have this in your life right now, appreciate what you do have, whatever it is, anything. We've talked about this card and talked about this card. There are prickly bushes behind her that she could worry about catching her dress, but she's appreciating that rose, and she could appreciate those plants. She could appreciate the plants behind her. She could appreciate the sun. She could appreciate the sky. She could appreciate the trees back there. She could appreciate her own dress, her own hand. Could go on and on and on and on. You don't even have to take it that far to get to this. And the thing is when you do appreciate, kind of like what I was saying, all that stuff, you see more. The abundance that was always there, most likely, you see it more because you're more predisposed to appreciate it. When you're caught up in this, you're not in here. You're blocking. You're fighting what's going on. And if this is, part of this situation, that makes it even worse because you're blocking this too now. And then it's harder to do this, and then this intensifies. This is what it's talking about. Attempting to control others attracts more to be controlled. It affects everything. Because it's not just about your relationship with that person. If that person walks out, it affects your love life. If you're married and you have a house together, and now it's affecting your finances. It's not just about this person not knowing how to act in certain situations, or you being nitpicky, this and that. Really, honestly, you're better off appreciating this person for who they are, for what you do like in them, and forgiving the things that you don't like. I mean, obviously within reason. Nobody's telling you to, cross your own boundaries. But if these are small things, if these are things like this man does not pick his clothes up off the floor, but you have this, take that into consideration. Take it into consideration. Not everybody has that, okay? And if you have anything in between what I talked about, same thing. And if you don't have this right now, and you're watching this reading, make sure you're not doing this. Make sure you're not trying to control others. And make sure you're doing this and appreciating nature and air, appreciating and meditating and letting in the abundance, because this is coming. If you're watching this reading, you don't even have to take action in this direction. If you take action in this direction, and you take action in this direction, and you take action in this direction, guess what? You can expect miracles. Until we meet again.